I'd like to start out with Elena Lopez.
Yeah, I got a little torture test too for this.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah.
Come on up, Elena. Actually, all four of you come up so that you can all
Yeah,
support
yeah,
each
yeah.
other. Oh, you'll see the point here in a moment.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy, I'm ready.
So, why don't you share some of kind of what's going on, and then I'll share some things teachers said about you. How about that? Just so you know, there's it's not administration nominated. This is 100 certified class and probably about 50 classified staff nominate seniors. We had about 25 total seniors nominated. Then we go through a pretty rigorous process of selecting who. These are the 4 out of the first and second quarters of this school year so far.
Good.
So, Elena Lopez, I'll let you start. How about that?
Okay, I'm Elena. I'm a senior, as you know. I'm part of the first graduating class of AVID at Mount High School. It's been a really great experience. It's taught me a lot about college and the experience I'll have, and it's really prepared me for everything that could come. Also, my stepdad, Chris, and my mom, Jill, are here with me. Another experience, it's not really in school, but AVID helped me prepare for it, was I went to the Dominican Republic over winter break in December. I internshiped at a hospital funded by the government. I shadowed midwives and other doctors. I watched surgeries. I was in the surgical room. I saw natural births and cesarean sections, and I saw everything in between, and it's just been a really good experience, and I have to thank AVID for that. I think if I wasn't with the whole AVID program, that I wouldn't have felt confident enough to apply for that and get in it, and so I really thank AVID and everything that it's brought to me.
Share a little bit of what is AVID in case they
AVID.
don't know yet.
So it's a college prep class, technically. We learn tips and tricks and everything that they think that will help us once we get into college organization. We have binders. It's just another way of organizing ourselves. We just learn a whole bunch of stuff that could help us in our future. So, advancement via individual determination is what it stands for.
Here's what a teacher said about Elena. Great pleasure of hers to nominate Elena. She truly embodies the ideals of perseverance and determination. As a member of the first graduating class of AVID, Elena demonstrates this on a daily basis. She wholeheartedly embraces the motto of AVID, which is advancement via individual determination. Elena has missed neither an assignment nor a single point in her grade during first semester this year. She's pushed herself to academically enroll in advanced courses, including AP classes. Elena is the first 12th grade student to apply and to receive a college acceptance. Persevering toward the goal, Elena conducted her own research, found, applied, and was accepted to a 10-day internship with GAP Medics. Elena gave up her winter break to volunteer in the Dominican Republic, working with midwives, observing surgeries, and assisting with medical procedures. When describing the experience, she called it life-changing. And you're also pursuing nursing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So this is Elena. So every year we remind students that these photos will follow you. Your senior photo will follow you. So when Olivia becomes the President of the United States, they want to know, can I get their senior photo? This is the one we show. So I'll have Olivia share a little bit about herself.
I normally don't look like that. So I'm also a senior at Northside. I brought my mom, Noelle, and my aunt to stay with me. I kind of really started digging into community service my freshman year, mainly because I wanted to be an NHS. And probably one of the biggest things that I've done that's meant the most to me is working with an organization called Project Canine, which is a therapy dog organization, and they do a lot with the Ronald McDonald House. They do a program called Bow Wows for Books, which is basically, and that's what I did, dogs come into libraries and kids can come read to them, and it gives them a safe space to learn how to read, because they're reading to the dogs and not people. Another thing is Project Linus, which is here in the Valley, and they make blankets for kids with terminal illness to make blankets for kids that were babies up to teenagers. And basically all the other community service I've done are just kind of small projects within the valley or conferences kind of off on the East Coast.
So there's a laundry list here, so I'm going to just pick a handful of things they said about her. But I shared with her aunt and her mom that Olivia impresses me as a force. Her vision of the future and kind of what she's trying to accomplish at Mount Si has been really impressive. I watched her raise a concern with our Boosters Club, where she thinks that we need to be teaching young men about how to be a man and what sexual assault is, and try and have a prevention strategy to sexual assaults and rapes. So she is trying to promote Boosters, bringing in a speaker called Protect Her, which I think is a really powerful thing, and she's really passionate about getting this put in place before she graduates, and it's something we're both trying to accomplish together. She's volunteered at a laundry list of things, so I'll just highlight some things at school that I think are great. She's a Link Crew member. How many of you are Link Crew members? Yeah. That's where they are kind of a mentoring of freshman classes that come in each year, so they're part of that. She's gone down to our elementary schools and taught health classes with the elementary students on top of her K-9 work. She's been a math and Spanish tutor for other students that need that support. She's done a variety of volunteering in different schools around our school, and how many hours total do you know what your number is?
I think it's 210.
Yeah, which is a significant amount, so that's Olivia.
Oh, they get better.
I'll let Sean go next.
Alright, so I'm Shirag. Came with my mom, Chai, my younger brother Neil, he's a 7th grader, Chief Kanan, my dad Ram.
Ram's also the president of the Sammamish Rotary Club, if you were not aware.
Yes, so
Incoming, yeah. Not too much pressure yet.
So in school, I'm the president currently of the Mount Si ASB, so that's our student leadership class, and we do everything from student voice to assemblies to really anything that students are involved in, from community blood drives to community clothing drives and whatnot. And then I'm also on the school board as the student rep, so it's kind of like a liaison for the student voice, so that make sure that our school board members know what we're thinking and the opinions that we have on whatever they're talking about. And then I think the biggest thing at school that I've been involved in is the school safety movement last year. It really kicked off last year. We did the walkout, we had a panel at school with legislators, law enforcement, mental health providers, and teachers and admin. So that was really impactful to see that everyone really cares about this issue and is willing to get together to work on it. Outside of school, especially in volunteering, I started my own youth foundation called Creative Children for Charity, with a mission to inspire 1 million kids to donate their time and talent for a social cause. Started in 2010, and so far we've donated a total of a little under $25,000 to a variety of social causes, worked with almost 8,000 kids, and donated I think it's 20,000-ish volunteer service hours through it. And we really focus on entrepreneurship events, technology events, and service projects. And it's all about getting kids involved in ways that they find are meaningful and are engaging to themselves. Yeah.
So I'll share with Rotary outside in an email a video you can watch about something called Lead Young. It's kind of a national organization that identifies youth that are doing really powerful stuff, and they have a whole website on Shrog and his charity. He invited me last summer to go check it out. He basically had rented Crossroads Mall, the entire center of it, and he had, I don't know how many kids, 50-ish?
I think we had 40 different youth businesses, so it was a total of 150 kids over 2 days.
So he basically created this event to get students to do something with their summers, and the whole concept was to be an entrepreneur, put together kind of a business plan, show up at the mall, present your marketing plan, and sell your products. And so there was, what were some of the youngest, 6?
Yeah, it's all the way from elementary through high school, and all of their business ventures, they would donate a portion or all of their profits to a social cause.
Yeah.
So a total of $5,000 was donated over just 2 days.
Yeah. So I went right home and chewed out my kids to get on. It was a really powerful powerful event, and it dawned on me, Dr. Manahan, our superintendent, uses the term "these kids these days," right? There's all these perceptions of students, and often they're really false, and this gives you an idea of what these guys are accomplishing with their free time. The other thing I was just going to mention with Shrog, because there's a lot of comments here, is Shrog is a stellar artist, and at some point maybe he'll shoot me some of those images that I could share with you guys, but that's how he makes his side business. So if you want to charter a personal piece of artwork, he'd be glad to crank that out for you, but that's not also to know that he does in his free time as well.
And I donate half the proceeds to different charities, so
Yeah.
it makes it worth your while.
And they're really stunning. It's incredible artwork. So thanks, Shrog. She recently dyed her hair back. Yeah. This is Emmy. I'll let you start.
Hi, I'm Emmy, and I'm here with my mom and my dad. And so I'm vice president of ASB, and basically I'm also head chair of student activities in ASB. So we're just in charge mainly of anything for the students, their activities, so like spirit weeks and any fun activities like last blast or anything like that. So I mainly run that, and then outside of that, I do volunteer work, like how Olivia said, for NHS, mainly just like small projects in the valley and help out with Shrog's events sometimes. And then I'm also co-president of Spanish National Honor Society, which is basically National Honor Society for kids that are in Spanish. And so we have to have at least 10 volunteer hours that are Spanish focused and using the language or helping people who speak the language. And then outside I just do some sports.
She's modest. She pretty much has her hands in about every event at Mount Si High School, and is a force as far as getting things done. Currently she's working on something called Last Blast, which is a huge undertaking. It's where we basically give kids a chunk of time towards the end of the school year to have a blast. So it's like controlled chaos, and so I've been giving many marching orders to Emmy. She's pulling it together and making it happen. I'm sure that'll be a great event, but that's an example. One of the things I would share with all 4 of these students is one of the things we're trying to do at Mount Si is move beyond awareness to tolerance on a variety of views, whether it's conservative views, liberal views, your religion, what your gender is. And these guys have done an amazing job of really focusing on making things inclusive. So 8 years ago when I first started at Mount Si, every assembly was about athletes. Everything we did was about athletes. Now our assemblies are not recognizing of just athletes. They're all about the music, the arts, variety of different skill sets. One of our most popular was things like unicycles and things like that. So they're really working hard at trying to draw in as many groups as humanly possible, make school kind of a welcoming place for students, and they've made a dramatic impact kind of on the culture of the school. So that's an example of something that they've worked really hard at. So 4 stellar students out of almost 435 students.
I can't remain silent. So, as a superintendent, you got 7,000 kids in our district, and a few always rise to the top. And to know these kids, just a few run-ins here and there. I mean, I don't know them as personally as, of course, Mr. Belcher did, but I have been really impressed. And not to take anything away from them, but when I talk about #kids these days, we need to change the narrative of what we think about when you think about, oh, these teenagers, right? These kids these days are amazing, and the future is really, really bright, because they aren't the only 4 kids in our district that do these amazing things. There are thousands of them that do really, really great work. These guys blow me away. I mean, my kids, I was never like that, so I can't imagine what you're going to accomplish. It's going to be really exciting to watch you. But I've seen them in different events, and whether it be a slam issue poetry, or whether it be on the school board, or Avid, or Saturday mornings at our Portrait of the Graduate, whatever it might be, these kids are really taking on the mantle of changing the future. They are empowered to change the world via their actions rather than just point and complain. So when we talk about kids these days, these are the kids these days that I think I want you to keep in your mind, that we have tons of these kids in our district and throughout our nation. we're in a good place because of what these kids do and the model they set for others. And, you know, just congratulations. Really, really impressive. Very heartfelt. And thank you for all that you do.
They even did a week of wellness where they encouraged every student to put the cell phone down for an entire day. It gives you an idea that they're pretty motivated. Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, I pulled it off for like 4 hours. It was pretty Did it work?
Kind of. I mean, we passed out Jolly Ranchers if they weren't using their phone.
Yeah.
So then sometimes people would come down.
Yeah.
Thoughts coming.
So there's got to be some sort of bribe.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to,
Yep.
hold on.
Which
This one first.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll do this first. All right. I want to thank you very, very much. This is yours. And I think, let's see, if we were doing a diploma, it would be I'm
Right
supposed
hand
to
shake,
Thank
left
you.
hand.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want to tell them what's in there?
Yeah, I did earlier. There's
Okay.
a little bit of money in there. There's a beautiful card that Lisa put together, and then there's a letter that is a more formal remembrance of this, so thank you. Sure. Thank you.
Doing a new test.
Yeah, Keith Root tested.
Yeah.
In one of them.
In one of them.
Keith Root tested. Oh.
Get the handshake. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go back to the
Okay.
First. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, quick note, our resident photographer, he videos all of these events, and if you do want any of those images photoshopped, that would be the gentleman who talked.
He did last time.
Yeah, this is going to the school.
Yeah, share them with the rest of the students.
Newspaper, yes, it is, it is.
That's.
So, that goes
Right
to
hand
you.
shake.
Thank you. I don't know.
You need
That's
to practice
your
that,
job,
Steve.
man. That's your job. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Look at the camera.
Oh, sorry.
Nice. Let's hear it.
Thank you, Dr. Minahan and Mr. Belcher for creating the environment these kids can excel. And thank you to the parents and relatives that are here for supporting them through their journey. Steve, you want to
One
say?
last question. Nurse, what are the rest of you three, what are your future plans?
Yeah, I should talk.
Yeah,
Tentatively.
tentatively.
Okay. You know where you're accepted?
Yes, I'm accepted to University of South Alabama, and I'm going. Go Jags! He's wearing
Yeah.
a shirt. Yeah, for Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Okay, very cool.
I'm thinking, I'm kind of like all over the place. So I kind of want to go political science, but also education policy or business. But so far I've gotten to UW, Wazoo, USC, UCLA, and Boston U. So it's a little exciting, but 5 more schools to hear from.
That's all kind of coming together this
Yeah.
week,
Yeah,
right? Like
it's,
it's
today
really
is Ivy
happening
Day
now.
for all the Ivy schools, and then
Gotcha.
tomorrow is like the last day for all of them.
Oh,
And Strong, why don't you share what we just nominated, or we just recognized you for like 2 weeks ago?
So the president does like a volunteer service award, so I got it, which is really cool. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, so he's going to get recognized for that tonight at the board meeting. UW also, out of the 1,500 applicants, they picked 19 stellar students in the state of Washington, give them a full ride scholarship.
26,000 applicants, I thought.
Was
it?
there?
How many?
12,000, I'm so far off.
Get that
But
number
trying
right.
this. And Strong is one of 19 in the state of
Wow.
Washington that got that.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure what I'm going to study yet. I'm still kind of thinking about maybe engineering, maybe education, and I'll probably go to the
Tell them what math class you're in.
AP Calc, BC.
She's like
it's those easy
yeah.
entry level ones.
Yes. She's got mad math skills.
Oh, bad.
I also don't know where I'm going. Most likely UW. I got into their business school, so that's probably number 1 right now. I'll hear back from Harvard today, but probably UW.
Okay.
I also got into Colorado School of Mines, so I'm basically deciding whether I want to get an undergrad in business or an undergrad in engineering. If I did the undergrad in engineering, then I'd get my MBA. But I want to do something business related.
Very cool. Wow.
All right. I told the parents they don't have a...
Absolutely. If it makes you feel any better, there's most of us in the room that don't know what we want to do when we grow up. She'll figure it out. All right, well, that's the end of the formal part of our program.